How's it going, everyone? Nova the Nautical here, and as a certified furry teenager, I will still admit, I play with toys. What? Alright, anyways, the furry fandom is a huge hobby for many, including myself. However, many furries have other hobbies outside of the fandom, such as video games, anime, amongst other things. Personally, outside of the furry fandom, I tend to collect Hot Wheels, or, as some of you may know them, toy cars. They've been sold for well over 50 years at this point, with a very rich history tied to the brand. Honestly, it's pretty similar to the furry fandom if you think about it, being around for a long time and having a very rich and interesting history. Besides from that, you may be wondering what Furries and Hot Wheels have in common, and I'll be honest straight up, pretty much next to nothing. But I still thought it would be fun to make this video to share one of my personal loves outside of the furry fandom. Without further ado, let's begin the tour of my collection. Alright, as you can see, I may have a slightly small addiction to collecting these things. I won't go too deep into depth about everything here in my collection, as it can honestly get very complicated very fast. But to keep it simple, the cars in my acrylic case over here, original early Hot Wheels from the 1960s and 1970s. They are also known as red lines due to the red lining on the tires. That's all I'm basically going to say about red lines, as the history and variations of these toys can get very complicated very fast. Moving on to the opposite wall, this is my main display of packaged cars in my collection. This is only a small amount of them. I've got more stored away in my closet and bedroom. As you can tell, I attempted to organize them by color, but it eventually got lazy, and the sort by color idea kinda fell apart. But it's the thought that counts, no? Moving on to my back wall over here, I have a bunch of treasure hunts, which are basically chase pieces. Treasure hunts have rubber tires and special shiny paint, known as Spectraflame. And yes, since they basically are chase pieces, like with pretty much any other toy line, we do have collectors who will overpay ridiculous amounts of money for these special cars. Next to them, I have some premium releases for Hot Wheels' 50th anniversary back in 2018. All of the cars in this set are popular models from the line's history, such as the Volkswagen Drag Bus and the 55 Chevrolet Bel Air Gasser. Moving on to this second board over here, I have my, convention pieces. Yup, you heard me right. Just like the furry fandom, the Hot Wheels fandom has conventions of its own. Ironically, quite similar in concept. Both take place at a major hotel in a major city and take over the span of a weekend. Another similarity between the two conventions is how that Hot Wheels conventions have their own sort of dealer's den. No, not eBay. Collectors tend to go from room to room and will buy and trade their own Hot Wheels, similar to how we buy and trade merchandise at furry conventions. As a matter of fact, my first Hot Wheels convention took place at the 17th Nationals Collector Convention in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania during the spring of 2017. As many of you may know, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is where the biggest furry convention in the world, Anthrocon, takes place. I personally found it amusing how my first convention for Hot Wheels was in the same city as Anthrocon. Yet another thing I find amusing is how this was at a point in my life when I was the same as pretty much any other outsider to the furry fandom, with the ha ha ha, furries are bad, burn them alive, ha ha, you're gay, and do you in those suits, and it's hunting season, shoot them! Just to name a few of the god-awful insults we hear pretty much every day. Well, anyways, that's all I've really got for today regarding how the furry fandom can connect to my outside hobbies that stemmed from before I met all you great people in this fandom. If you have any type of collections you'd like to share, sound off in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about them. Thanks for watching, everyone, and as always, stay nautical.